When we think of World War I, the Western Front often that comes to mind. But another brutal conflict raged between Italy and the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Italy joined the war in May of 1915, switching sides on promises of land from the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Areas like Trentino and Trieste agreed upon in the secret Treaty of London. Italy's main effort focused on the Isonzo River, now called Soca in Slovenia. The Italian commander Luigi Cadorna saw this as the best path towards the key port of Trieste. But the Isonzo front was a nightmare. Steep mountains, rocky plateaus like the Corso, and a river itself gave the defenders a huge advantage. The Austro-Hungarians were sort of expecting Italy to switch sides, so they already had built strong defenses even before Italy declared war. In the late 1915, Cadorna launched 4 big attacks on the Isonzo River. Despite huge numbers of troops and terrible losses, they gained almost nothing. The Austro-Hungarian losses were just as high. The Fifth Army, often outnumbered but well led by commanders like Svetozar Boroević, held its ground. Cadorna's tactic of mass infantry charges against machine guns and barbed wires, often without enough artillery support, repeatedly failed. These 4 battles ended in a stalemate, costing many lives for no real gain, damaging the Italian morale and resources. After the 4th battle ended in December 1915, a harsh winter brought a pause. Both sides used this time to recover and strengthen their lines. The deadlock continued, but everyone was preparing for more fighting. As winter ended in early 1916, fighting was sure to restart. Both sides improved their positions. Italy added 8 new divisions and improved their artillery setups. Austria-Hungary reinforced its trenches with concrete and iron, especially on the Corso Plateau and around Gorizia. The push for the next Italian attack, the 5th Battle of Isonzo, didn't come from Cadorna. It came from Italy's allies. At a conference in December 1915, the allies agreed to launch coordinated attacks in 1916. This became urgent when Germany attacked the French city of Verdun in February 1916. France desperately needed help. The French commander, Joseph Joffre, urged Cadorna to attack on the Isonzo front to pull Austro-Hungarian troops away from other fronts and by that indirectly ease the German pressure on Verdun. Cadorna felt forced to act, especially as his army wasn't fully ready. He was still lacking enough artillery, also wanted to wait for much better weather. So the 5th battle wasn't planned as a major breakthrough, but as a smaller diversionary attack, a demonstration or a distraction. Its main goal was to help France and not to achieve big Italian objectives. The commanders were the same. Cadorna leading the Italian army with generals like Frugoni and Duke of Aosta commanding the 2nd and the 3rd armies. Facing them were the Austro-Hungarians under Archduke Eugen and Chief of Staff Konrad von Hötzendorf, with Boroević commanding the 5th Army on the Isonzo. The 5th battle began around 9th or 11th of March of 1916, and fighting centered on the middle Isonzo Valley, between Tolmin and Monte San Michel, including the Gorizia area and the Kars Plateau. Italy had more troops and guns, about 286 battalions and 1,360 artillery pieces, while Austria-Hungary had around 100 battalions and 470 guns. The official goals were capturing Gorizia and the Tolmin bridgehead, but the real aim was just diversion. The week of fighting was less intense and caused fewer casualties than the 1915 battles. Still, it's followed the same costly pattern. Near Gorizia, Italians attacked Podgora Hill but were pushed back by the determined Austro-Hungarian defenders. Attacks near Tolmin also failed. The village of San Martino del Carso was briefly taken but quickly lost again in a counterattack, and this possibly also was achieved by using tear gas. One notable Italian success was capturing Mont Sabotino, but unlike other attacks, this operation was carefully planned since the winter. This single victory showed that success was possible, but perhaps needed better planning than the rest of the demonstration or diversion attack. Any hope of building this gain faded quickly. By mid-March, the terrible weather hit the front, heavy snow and fog stopped the operation, especially on the Kars Plateau, making trench life unbearable. The bad weather effectively ended the offensive after about a week. Once again, the harsh terrain, the climate proved a major obstacle. The fifth battle ended around 15th-17th of March of 1916. Two main things stopped it. First, the awful weather made more attacks impossible. The second, and more importantly, the Italians learned that Austro-Hungary was massing troops in the Trentino region far to the west. This signaled a major Austro-Hungarian offensive aimed at cutting behind the main Italian armies. Facing this new danger, Cadorna had to call off the Isonzo attack and shift huge number of troops focused west to defend the Trentino area. Cadorna also asked Russia to keep up the pressure on Austria-Hungary on the eastern front, hoping to tie down more enemy forces. The fifth battle itself achieved little. Italy didn't take Gorizia or Tolmin except for Monsabatino, no important ground was gained, some minor fighting continued until late March but with no clear winner. The casualties were lower than in other Isonzo battles, reflecting the short duration. Both sides lost around 4,000 men in total. Italy suffered around 1,900 casualties, Austria-Hungary about 2,000. While fewer than before, it was still a tragic cost for almost no result. In the harsh reality of the Isonzo front, the fifth battle was a relatively small event. It was short and limited and less bloody than others. It's often called a demonstration. It failed to break the stalemate or achieve much on its own. One newspaper at the time made a sarcastic remark that it had the same kind of success as the first four. It was being cut short by the Austro-Hungarian threat in the Trentino area, and by that it showed how events on one part of the front could drastically affect the others. Even as the Trentino crisis unfolded, Cadorna's mind seemed to set on Isonzo. Almost immediately started to planning the sixth battle of Isonzo. The fifth battle of Isonzo remains a brief, inconclusive episode in a long, terrible story. It was just one of 12 such battles fought over the same ground, costing Italy and Austria-Hungary over 1 million casualties combined. With this, we arrived to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you are not subscribed to my channel, you could subscribe, you could like my video, share it, leave a comment, and see you in the next one. Bye!